They're worried that this is going to turn into violence. I think the thing to probably watch out for.
So bring us the latest, if you would, on the negotiations. We know that Hamas were not happy with the talks, but they've said these indirect talks will continue.
Yeah, Hamas said that they left Cairo on Thursday with no deal. They're pushing, and they have been this entire time as these ceasefire talks have dragged on for weeks. They've been pushing for a full Israeli withdrawal. The Israelis have said that's the red line, that they're going to stay inside the territory throughout the length of a ceasefire. The Israelis also say that they need to see the list of surviving hostages before they're going to agree to any deal, and that they haven't been able to confirm or verify that people that would be on this list of released hostages are still alive. There's been no proof of life. So that's been the flashpoint of these talks for now, again, several weeks. And it does not seem like there's been any progress. When we heard President Biden the week before say that he was hopeful that there was going to be some sort of agreement reached by Monday of last week, and then that didn't come. It's not entirely clear where this breakdown is, because from the U.S. side, they keep sensing or publishing that they believe that the talks were close or that there was some sort of agreement. But again, the breakdown of these talks is no different than what we've seen as a breakdown in the last several weeks. It's that same point, the verifying that these hostages are alive, and Hamas wants a complete Israeli withdrawal. And we've known that for weeks. And every time that these delegations have left Cairo, several times now that they've left and re-met, it's been the same issue. They have not seemed to made any progress on those 2 points.
Much has been made of wanting to secure a ceasefire before the start of Ramadan. Can you just explain to us the significance of that?
Yeah, Ramadan will be an interesting element to what's happening here. It's based on the lunar cycle. It moves throughout the year. So 30 years ago, during the Yom Kippur War, which is one of the holiest days in Judaism, that was also during Ramadan at that point. And the Israelis will say that, well, there's been a lot of violence over these periods when Ramadan, which lasts for about a month, when this takes place. Over the decades, there's been many events that have made them wary of when this period comes. They say that the thing to watch out for will be what happens in the West Bank, because that's the closest access that Palestinians have to Jerusalem. They want to be able to reach the site of Al-Aqsa, the mosque in Jerusalem. Right now, the Israelis continue to put up roadblocks, wouldn't be the right word, because Jerusalem is such a tight, compact city, just small walking corridors. And they've been placing Israeli soldiers through just about every turn you can make as you walk through Jerusalem. I have myself trying to navigate to this mosque, which I've tried to do for over a year now, and I've never been successful. This is the same thing for anyone that's not Jewish, not an Israeli. As they walk through Jerusalem, they're going to be stopped. They're going to be told to turn around. They're not going to be given a reason or an explanation why they have to. They're supposed to be able to have access to this site, right? But it's been long standing now that they just can't get into the Al-Aqsa area. So they've been essentially praying around these roadblocks or points where the Israeli troops are blocking access to those corridors. And we're seeing that. Last night we saw a heavy presence. There's going to be demonstrations. They're worried that this is going to turn into violence. I think the thing to probably watch out for is what's going to happen in the West Bank. The amount of incidents that we've seen over the last several weeks taking place near Israeli checkpoints, Israeli soldiers, has certainly been consistent, but they're worried that there's going to be an uptick as there's going to be demonstrations and unrest inside Ramallah and the rest of the West Bank.
Let's discuss the pledge by the Americans to get more aid into Gaza. They're going to be constructing a pier, a sort of temporary port, if you like, to enable ships to bring aid in via the water and then into Gaza. How much do we know about this plan? How long is it going to take to build? How easy is it going to be to get the aid from those ships into Gaza and specifically the north of Gaza, where we're warned that famine is a real possibility?
Right. This is one of the elements that the U.S. military is very proud that they have the capabilities to be able to land on a beachhead and establish kind of a temporary port to be able to move in. They say tanks and equipment and things like that. It's the wing of the Army that's ability, the Army Corps of Engineers, to be able to land on a beach and establish corridor to get things off ships very quickly. So they have the ability to do this in a rapid order if they wanted to. Of course, that's in their military mindset for invasions. They'd be able to set up a corridor for bringing in tanks and artillery and equipment very fast. When it comes to aid, that's going to probably look a lot different because they're going to be establishing this beachhead or a temporary port for other elements to be able to land their ships and bring trucks across. The question being, how close is some of that aid, if they even have the ships in the area to be able to make this, very quickly? Where are these ships going to be coming from? Are they going to have to be U.S. ships? There's been somewhat of a temporary station that's been set up in Cyprus to be able to collect some of this aid by ship, and then it can be moved again by ship towards Gaza. But there's no port that has been working throughout the course of this conflict or before that the Israelis would allow for some of this aid to come through. So this does appear to be the best way that aid could make its way into the northern half of the territories. I haven't seen an exact location where they intend to land and to start building this port. Of course, you would imagine this comes with the Israelis' approval because they have pretty much full military control over the beach, and they absolutely have military control over the waters with their ships outside or off the coast of the territory. So the big questions here are going to be how much aid, how fast can they actually establish this port head, and how much aid could they actually move? And is this going to be U.S. aid, or are they going to be allowing other ships, French and British ships, to be able to land at this port as well and to offload their own aid? That would be the most effective way, though, to be able to get food and resources into the territory. Airdropping this aid has turned into such a flashpoint inside so many Arab circles, because what they're seeing is, to them, a cowardly attempt to airdrop aid. It's at such a distance, and it does not work very well for them. I mean, some of this aid has been dropping out into the sea and presumably lost, as you see the images of the Palestinians trying to swim out to get it. And now yesterday, we're seeing these terrible reports that some of the journalists on the ground even have been able to confirm what the Hamas-run health ministry has been saying, that there were several fatalities from these crates where the parachutes didn't open. These crates, hundreds of kilos worth of food and water inside of them as they smashed into the ground, reportedly killing several Palestinians on the ground, including women, as they were attempting to get to the aid. So this is not an effective way to bring resources into the territory. Ship-based aid is long been discussed as one of the best ways to get aid in, but of course the land crossings are still right now the most effective and most consistent way that there is aid reaching the territory.